Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video, we're gonna be working on this sweater here. It's a crop sweater. So for those of you who are looking to do it in a different length, I'm gonna talk a little bit about how you can do that. And as well, if you're looking to do it in different sizes, I do explain how you can get different sizes by measuring the person that you're making it for, and then obviously getting the right measurements, and you can make it in those sizes. Okay, but this is a very simple one. For this one here, I used about 5 skeins of the yarn that I'm gonna show you. So for those of you who ask how much yarn I use about 5 skeins to finish this crop top here. Obviously it's gonna be different amount of yarn depending on the size that you make, and this one here is a small. Okay, so small 5 skeins, and you could be doing more or needing more yarn to be able to do a bigger size from these, or less if you're doing, let's say, an extra small. Okay, all right, so with all that said, let's go ahead and grab our materials so we can go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovely. So to get this project started, I'm going to show you the materials that I'm using currently. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It's Azurite. It's by Azurite, 100% acrylic. This is a lightweight number 3. And I will call this purple, but then the color number is 0303. And it's they're recommending 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and you get about 50 grams or 140 meters, give and take, for this skein like this. So you're gonna obviously need a few. I don't know how many I'm gonna use yet, but I will be able to tell you at the end or at the beginning of the video if I remember. Okay, I have my crochet hook that I'm gonna use. It's a 5 millimeter crochet hook, or H8 US, and as you can see, is obviously a bigger size hook than what is recommended. It's just by preference. I have my scissors here to cut my strands and my yarn. I have my threading needle to be able to join panels and things like that. I have some stitch markers as well as a tape measure to be able to determine the size that I'm going for. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovely. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this project here. So this project works by doing multiples of 15, or the other way you can look at it is doing multiples of 10 and then 5 and then 10 and then 5 and then 10 and then 5. Now with the size that I'm looking for, which in your case you will have to decide how tight you want your sweater to be, how loose you want your sweater to be, and this is gonna determine how long you do the first foundation chain, because we're gonna be working with 4 panels altogether. We're gonna be doing a panel for the back and then one for the front, and then we're gonna do a panel for each of our sleeves. Okay, so we're starting with the body panel here, and it can be either the back or the front, like I said. But the first thing you have to do is make sure you determine how long you want to do your chain based on how tight or loose or you want your sweater. Okay, so for me, I have decided that I need to have about, give and take, 15 to 18 inches, and that's gonna be depending on the looseness that I do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my multiples of 15, but I'm gonna do it more like 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, until, because we need to be able to have 10 at the end and 10 at the beginning. I'm gonna just do the chains, and then I will explain to you a little bit. Maybe I'll get something to write something down, because it is a little bit of a complicated project to do. I can just do the number of chains and tell you do this much, but if you are doing different sizes, it would be complicated, because you wouldn't know if you're doing a size that is bigger than what I'm making or smaller than what I'm making. How does that work in terms of stitches? Okay, so let me just begin it first, and then I will explain a little bit more how you actually get this number of chains. Okay, so like I said, I will do a chain of 70. So I have done my slip stitch here, and then I'm gonna do 70. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70. Okay, so I have done my chain of 70 here. And so I just got a marker so I can show you guys why I'm going with 70. So just like the back of my wrapping of my yarn, and I have a marker here. So what I did to get that 70 was, it's very important that you know you do, even though you're doing multiples of 15, that is actually more that you're doing 10 and then 5 and then 10 and then 5 and then 10 and then 5 and then 10. So if I count this, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 40, 50. So I have to do another 5 here and then 10. So I'm just counting the 10s right now. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 60, and then 70. So that's how I have my chain of 70. And it's very important that you know we have to have 10 at the beginning and we have to have 10 at the end. So this is these multiples here. And then what I'm gonna do, so just understanding that this is how I do. So let's say you're making a sweater that is smaller than what I'm making. So let's say you have to do 15 stitches less, then you would literally stop here. So you'll just do until here and that will be it. If you need to do even less than that, then you will probably take 15. So you're literally removing 15 when you do these kind of things, unless your multiples get you to a point where there's a 5 that ends at the end, which is at that point I don't think it's very, actually I think it's more the 10 at the beginning, the 10 at the end. Okay, all right, so keeping this in mind, I'm gonna just put this to the side for a second. The other thing that we need to do is we need to add the beginning, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a mesh at the beginning of our panel and a mesh at the end. So to do a mesh that would be for this side, we're going to add 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3. And then to do the mesh that is at the beginning or at the beginning of the row, we do a chain of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I just added 9 more chains. But what that is I want to be able to have 3 at the beginning here, which would be my double crochet plus a chain. And then on this side I added 6, which is a chain 2, a double crochet, and then chain 2. So this is how I begin. This 6 is gonna count like that, because at the end, when I skip this 6 to work into the first of the 3, what I'm actually doing is I'm just creating my chain 2, double crochet, chain 2 at the end. Okay, if this doesn't make sense, it will make a lot more sense as I work into it. And hopefully the more of this the more projects I do with this pattern, the more it's gonna be easier. Okay, so now I have my 6 at the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna skip all these 6. In the 7th stitch, I'm gonna go ahead and do a double crochet, but I'm gonna go in the back of my foundation chain to complete my double crochet. So this part here is going to be these 6 stitches at the end, which is at the bottom there's a chain 2, double crochet, chain 2. Okay, and then now I'm gonna do a chain of 2 and then skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a double crochet on top of the on top of the 3rd or the back of the 3rd stitch, but I'm gonna grab the back loop, and then I'm gonna do a chain of 2, skip 2 stitches, and complete a double crochet in the back loop of your chain. Okay, so this is what we're doing for the remainder of this row. You're just doing your mesh row like this. It's gonna all look like this at the end. So go ahead and do this all the way to the end here, and remember we're going into the back loop, which means we're grabbing these lumps in the back of whatever stitch. So if you're skipping 2, obviously because you do a chain 2 and then skipping 2 stitches, So when it's the one that you work into, just go ahead and grab the back of that lump of your chain to be able to complete your double crochet. When you have done this all the way to the end, come back to the video. I will show you how to do the second row, and also it will make more sense when we complete the second row as to why we did these kind of chains the way we did it here. Okay, so I will see you guys at the end of finishing this row. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed just the mesh row of my panel here. And as you can see, this is just how it's gonna look. I just measured it now. It's about 17.5 inches. And that is a good size for me, because when I do my bust, which is what I should have probably said, is that you have to also measure. When you measure to see how big you want each panel to be, you have to measure the widest part of your bust. And I did mine, it's about 34 inches around. And so I'm doing 17, almost 18 here, and then I will have the other 18 on the other side. I have about 36, so it's not that far off. I will have some little space of looseness to work with it, so it's not gonna be too much of a buggy sweater. It's gonna be something that is, it fits nice, but it's not too tight, like it's not hugging me. Okay, so now that we have completed this first row, I'm going to show you the second row. And what we do with that is we start by doing a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn. And then we're going to skip this chain 2 that we just had here. And on top of the double crochet, we will work our double crochet. Okay, like that. And then we have the chain 2 space here. I'm going to work 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space. So I just go right underneath and complete my double crochets twice, like that. Okay, and then I will work a double crochet on top of the double crochet from the previous row. And then in the gap, in the chain 2 gap, I will complete 2 double crochets. So in other words, I'm just working a double crochet so far in every stitch. Okay, and then I will work a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the chain 2 gap, which is just working 2 double crochets in the previous two stitches. Okay, and then I will finish these off by doing a double crochet here, and then I will explain a little bit. So the point here is, from this point here, you have to make sure you have 10 double crochets. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I do have 10 double crochets. And then I want to be able to work a mesh. So I'm going to do 1, 2. So chain 2, and then skip this chain 2. And on top of the previous double crochet, complete a double crochet. And then chain 2, complete a double crochet after skipping the chain 2 spots. And then like that. Okay, so this is my mesh area here. And then I will go ahead and continue by doing 10 more double crochets. So this is the first one here. This is my second, my third, and then my fourth is right on top of the previous double crochet. 5, oopsie, 5, 6. I'm going way too fast, and I'm letting my hook just slide off because of how fast I'm going. But you just do your 10 double crochets here. So that should be 9, and then 10 with this one. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 double crochets. And then as you see, I had 10 here, and then this area here from the 2 chains of the where we skipped here. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you kind of start to get an idea of why we do 10 and 5, 10 and 5, because our 10 and 5 is 10 solid double crochets plus 5 stitches that create the mesh in the middle. And then we repeat that again, and then we repeat it again, and we repeat this. And we want to be able to end with 10 double crochets at the end. Obviously, there's the mesh area that we have to do at the end, but in general, it will end with the 10 double crochets and then the mesh at the end. Okay, and so let me finish this row, and then I can actually explain better these multiples of 10, 5, 10, 5. Okay, so here I'll do a chain of 2, skip this gap, the double crochet, the 2 chain 2 here, and then do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and complete a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. So now I have just done my mesh, which is after these 10 stitches, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where my 5 go in before I do the next 10. And this doesn't count towards these 5, because the 5 is these 2, this one, and these 2. And then so now I'm gonna do 10 double crochets. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now I have these 10, and the next part I'm gonna do is the mesh. So chain 2, skip the 2 chains, and then crochet a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Chain 2, skip the 2 chains, and crochet a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. So you kind of understand the pattern here for this part. So just finish these all the way to the end. When you do your final double crochet right here, come back. I will show you how to finish the mesh area at the end, and then I will show you how to start the second row, and then I will explain how many rows you have to do before we have to change what we're doing a little bit. Okay, so go ahead, and I will meet you when you're almost at the end. Okay, my lovelies, so I have finished my second row here, as you can see, and I just asked you guys to meet me here so I can show you how to finish this row off. So this is where we had skipped the 6 chains, which is these 6 chains that we added right here. So these chains that we have here, like I said, when I explained it at the beginning, there's 2 chains that count as chain 2, and then there's 2 chains that count as a double crochet, and then there's 2 chains that count as the chain 2 for when we go across like this. Because if, let's say, if there was only 4 and I chain 2 and then slip stitch, it will just make it so that it actually just looks like it's a double crochet at the end like this. It doesn't make it a mesh. Okay, so the fact that we had the 6 at the end makes it so that we can actually have a mesh at the end. So I will do a chain of 2, which represents these 2 first chains here, and then I will do a double crochet in the 3rd chain from from these 2 that I'm skipping. And then so now this double crochet counts as the double crochet here of the 2 chains, and then these 2 chains here are what makes up these 2 chains in the bottom. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. And then so again, when you think about it, then my 3 chains, these 3 here that I wanted at the beginning, it's pretty much just the part of the double crochet plus, because I do this chain 2 already, and I do this chain 2 already, so that is just to make up this area here. Okay, now I'm going to start the 3rd row with you, and I'm going to do a chain of 4. So you're gonna be starting a chain of 4 for this project here. Every time you finish your row, you begin with a chain of 4, and then you will skip these 2 chains here. Your chain of 4, the first 2 chains count as a double crochet, and then the second 2 chains count as the chain 2. So then when you go like this and you complete your double crochet here, you actually have 2 chains that count as a double crochet, 2 chains on top that counts as a chain 2. Okay, and then now you just work a double crochet stitch on top of each double crochet that you had completed in the previous row. Okay, so all the double crochets, the 10 stitches here, are going to be, I'm just kind of repeating that to have 10 double crochet stitches here on top of the 10 double crochet stitches from the previous row. Okay, and I'm going to show you quickly how to do a few stitches here, and then I will explain how you do that to the end. Okay, and then so this is 10, and you will always at the beginning, if you're not sure, just count. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So you have your 10 stitches there. We have the first 10 stitches here, and then now I need to do the 5, and my 5 creates the mesh because the 5, yeah, the 5 is there to be the mesh section of our pattern, and the 10 is our solid part of our pattern. Okay, so now to create the mesh, I do a chain of 2, and then I skip this chain 2 and crochet a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then chain 2, and then again skip these 2 stitches and then crochet on top of the previous double crochet. But then, so now my mesh, my 5 stitches, these 5 stitches start from the mesh. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the double crochet I do after that, it doesn't count towards the mesh, towards the 5, it counts towards the 10 that I'm about to do. So now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and then I'll repeat by doing the mesh, and then 10 double crochets, mesh, 10 double crochets all the way to here. Then you'll do your last double crochet here, chain 2, and then skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and the third complete a double crochet, and then chain 4 to begin the next row. So you're just repeating at that point, you're just repeating what we have been doing here, and then you're gonna do 5 rows of that. So we are now just going, we're starting our second one. You're gonna finish the second one, do the third, the fourth, the fifth. So altogether you will have 5 rows of this pattern here, but 6 including the mesh that we began the whole row with. When you do that, then come back to the video and I will show you what to do for the next part of this panel. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed 5 rows, which is 6 rows altogether with a mesh row at the bottom. So now you see how the pattern is kind of coming together. We do have these meshes that kind of go along the along like this, and then vertically, and then you will see that we have the solid parts as well that go vertically. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you the repeat. So we pretty much have to repeat it by doing this row of the meshes here, and then after we finish that, we're gonna repeat these 5 rows after the mesh. Okay, so again we start by doing a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn, and then we skip these 2 stitches here, which is the chain 2 stitches, and then we're gonna go right into that double crochet and do a double crochet, and then we'll chain 2, skip 2 stitches and do a double crochet, and then chain 2, skip these 2 stitches, and in the third stitch do a double crochet like that, chain 2 and skip these 2 stitches, and then go ahead and complete a double crochet on top of that double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2 here, and on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, chain 2, and as you can see we just repeat this all the way across. Okay, where we're gonna end up having just a row of mesh, just like we did here in the bottom where we began the row after we did our foundation chain. Okay, so just go ahead and do the mesh all the way to the end. And of course, when you come to here, you will do your last double crochet here, chain 2, and then slip stitch in the second stitch from the bottom. So 1, 2, right here, you're gonna do your double crochet, and then come back to the video, and then I will again just explain how we start these portions here, like we did in the first row. But I would not explain too much because we just repeat these stitches, these rows that we have just done. So it's in actuality it's actually a repeat of 6 rows. So you repeat 6 rows over and over and over again until you have what you need. Okay, but for now just finish your meshes to the end and then come back to the video. Okay, my lovely, so I have completed the row of the mesh again here. So as you can see, it's just the same as we did here. So then now I'm gonna start the next row. So I'll do a chain of 4 and then turn my work. And then now this is where we repeat what we did here. So I will skip this chain of 2, and on top of the double crochet I will complete a double crochet, and then I'll do 2 double crochets in the chain 2 gap, just going right underneath those stitches and completing 2 double crochets. And then I'll go on top of the double crochet and do a double crochet, and then just go underneath the chain 2 and do 2 double crochets. Okay, and then on top of the double crochet I will do a double crochet, and then I'll do 2 double crochets in the chain 2 gap, just like that. And then I'll finish these off by doing a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. So again, this is exactly what we did in the bottom here. So you should have 10 double crochet stitches right here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So you have the 10 just like we did down here. And then I'll do a chain of 2, skip the chain 2 gap, and then go on top of the double crochet and complete a double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2, and then do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. Okay, so now we're just continuing to keep these mesh here, continuing. There's no break in that here. And then with this we continue the same. Obviously after every 6 rows we start by repeating those again. So for example here I will just go ahead and do 2 double crochets in the chain 2 gap, and then I go on top of the double crochet, and I'll do this until I have 10 double crochets, which will take me right to the top of this stitch here. Then I'll chain 2 double crochet here, chain 2 double crochet here, so which means I'm skipping the chain 2 gaps and then going on top of the double crochet and doing a double crochet, skipping this chain 2 and then doing a double crochet here. Then I'll complete 10, and then I just repeat that like we did the bottom here, and I'll repeat this and repeat until I have what I need for one of my panels. So at this moment you can decide whether you want your sweater to be a crop sweater, a long sweater, however the length that you want it to be. You do this until you have that. Okay, so and when you end your row, make sure you end your row just like this. So it will not be with the mesh, it will be with the solid. So when you do your 5 rows of the row, then you're gonna stop there, and then you're gonna come back to the video. We will look at how it looks like, and then we will go ahead and begin the second panel, and then of course we have to do the panels for the sleeves as well. Okay, but for this, just continue to work. I think I'm gonna make mine more like a crop sweater, so I'll probably just do whatever length that it takes. And the way you measure it is you just place the tape measure on top of your shoulder blade, and then you kind of drop it down the front of your chest, and then wherever you want that to land, whether it's a crop sweater, long sweater, midriff sweater, whatever it is, then you're gonna make sure you do these number of rows that will be equivalent to that size by measuring that. So if I want to do 15, let's say I want to do 15 inches, then I have to go until I have 15 inches. And if it doesn't allow you to do 15 inches by completing the exact this repeat here, then it will just be a little bit extra or a little bit less. So that's how you're gonna decide on that. Okay, but for now just work your panel and then come back when you've completed that. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the number of rows that I needed for the panel here. So as you can see, this is pretty much how it looks like for one. I have stopped at, we're just gonna, to make it easy for the project, we're gonna look at these boxes here. So I ended up doing 4 boxes for the length of my sweater. So if we go ahead and just do a little bit of a measurement of that, you would be able to see how long it is. But this is obviously mine and my preference and my size. So it's about 12 inches. So I have about 12 inches for the length of my sweater. So if you obviously haven't realized, it's going to be more of a crop sweater than a long sweater. Okay, now I just did my last row here, which is my 5th row, and I just ended it here. So I'm gonna cut these off, and then I'm gonna do the second panel. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut these off here first. Grab my scissors, and we're gonna leave the yarn to hang a little bit long here to be able to join our panels together. So I'm gonna cut it somewhere here, and then we're gonna do a chain 1, pull it through, and then pull it through. Okay, so now one panel is completed, and we have obviously 3 more to go, which is the one of the body panels, and then we're going to do the sleeves. Okay, so what you will do is you will go ahead and restart the video if you want to, and if you or if you remember how to do it, just do a second one exactly the same. Make sure if you're changing colors or you're doing multiple colors, you change it however you obviously change the first one. If you're doing one solid color, then you just do it until it matches the number of rows as the first one you would have completed. When you have both of those panels completed, come back to the video and I'll go ahead and show you what to do next for the sleeves panel. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my second panel here. So as you can see, I just repeated the same thing as I did for the first one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes like I did the first one, and I finished it off with a solid row here as well, as opposed to the mesh row. And then I'll do the same as I did with the other one. I will just go ahead and leave the string a little bit longer here, and I'll cut off my yarn, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a slip knot and then pull it through to just kind of secure the end here. Okay, so we're gonna do that and just pull it through. Okay, so now I have my second panel completed, and this is the first one that we completed previously. So these are the 2 panels for the body, and you obviously want to make sure that they are exactly the same size. So if you put them side by side like this, that they are matching exactly how you wanted it to look. Okay, now that we have these 2 panels completed, we have to work on the sleeves. And for the sleeves, I am going to work, for mine, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm actually going to end up doing 4 panels that are exactly the same. And the reason for that is I just measured my arm. So the way I did it was I'm using one of the panels here. So this is gonna be, so we do the sleeve panel exactly like we did the body panel, except when we put it onto the body of the sweater, we're gonna fold it like this. And obviously then it's gonna end up going like this on you, like this. And so I just measured how long I want the sleeve to be, and it turned out to just be pretty much the same length as the body panel. So what I mean by that is I am going to measure. So what I did was I measured from the bottom of my wrist here, so at the very end of my wrist, or where I want my sleeve to begin, and then I just put it all the way and I go under to my armpit, and then I measure this and I put it against it like this. Okay, so as you can see, I have about 17 inches across like this, and so that is the length of my sleeve, and I am good with having it be like that. So this is why I said I'm gonna make it so that I do 4 exact same panels. And also these here, the where your hand comes through, it's also the looseness that I want, because if I wanted a little bit tight, then I would probably do it so that it's more like this, which would have meant that I would do only 3 of these boxes as opposed to 4. Okay, so you have to really see how loose you want it, and also how long you want it. I would say if you want to see how loose you want it, it's good to measure the widest part of your shoulder or the top part of your arm, to see and to make sure that when you do fold your panel like this, that this is enough to fit the widest part of your arm. Okay, as long as you're okay with that, then you would be okay with this amount. If it is a little bit too loose and you want it to be tighter, then you do 3 rows, but just make sure that this section here will fit the widest part of your arm. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 2 panels, which are the panels for my sleeves. When I have both of them completed, which means I will have 4 very equal panels, then I will come back and we'll talk about joining them together. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed 2 panels here, which are the the sleeve panels. So as you can see, I just did 2 identical to the first ones. So if I grab the first ones that we did here, which are the ones for the body, you will see that I have pretty much 4 exactly the same panels here. Okay, so see, so now that I have my 4 panels that are exactly the same, I have 2 that are body panels and the other 2 are the sleeves. I'm gonna put the sleeve ones away for now. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this in a way that I'm going to be able to join them. So the first one I'm going to put down let's say I choose that this is gonna be the outside of my work, then I will just put it so that what I feel is gonna be the inside is gonna be facing down. Now with this project here, it doesn't really matter because it literally just look the same on both sides. I often look at the side that maybe I have some imperfections, or maybe where I changed the yarn, or like where I added yarn, it's kind of like looking a little bit messy. Then I just kind of make that as part of the outside, okay, or the inside. And then for the second piece, we're going to make sure you do the opposite. The side that you want to be the outside is going to be facing down, and then the side you want to be the inside is going to be facing up, okay? All right, so, and also as you see where we cut off the yarn and left it a little bit long, I'm gonna obviously use those to join our panel together on top here. Now what you want to do is you want to section out your neckline, and you're going to decide how wide you want your neckline to be. So for me, I think what I will do is from each end I will come to the end of the where we started the second solid part. I'm gonna go until here, and then I'll do the same on the other side. So this is gonna be my neckline right here, okay? And for you, if you want it to be whatever you want to be, just make sure you section out. Maybe this is the time to use stitch markers. I'm not gonna use stitch markers because it's very obvious where I'm gonna go to, so I don't need to sketch to mark it out. But if you find that it may be confusing you, just go ahead and section it out, okay? So, but for me, I'm just gonna go here until I get to here. So I'm going to bring in my darning needle, and I'm going to thread my darning needle here using the yarn that I had left when I cut at the end. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and get started here. So I'm gonna go into the first stitch here, and then on the chain 4 that we did, on top of the chain 2 or the second chain from the bottom here, I'm gonna grab that, and then I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna do that one more time just to secure it properly, okay? And then now I'm just going to line up the stitches. So for the next stitch, I'm gonna go here and make sure I line it up to the other side like that, and then bring it through. And then I'm gonna go and pick this stitch and then line it up to that stitch and bring it through, okay? And then I'm gonna line up to this stitch to the stitch on the other side. And as you can see, we're grabbing both loops and not just one or two, one of the loops, okay? So we're going through and grabbing both loops. At least this is how I like to join it. If you like to join it in a different way, please go ahead and do that. But for me, this is how I like to do my joining, okay? So, and then we just go all the way across these 10 stitches here. So that's the 9, and then the 10th is right here. And then we're gonna go on the chain 2. We're gonna grab the first stitch and match it up to the other side. And then the second chain, match it up. And then on top of the double crochet, and then the remaining two, the other two chain 2s. So this is a very easy thing to join, because you can actually just follow the stitches and line them up. And then this is the last one I want to do here. And for this, for the final one, I'm gonna go through it one more time, but the second time I'm gonna take my yarn, loop it around the tip of the darning needle, pull it through, and that is just, it's like I'm doing a slip stitch. And then I'm gonna pull this. Now I'm gonna leave these here hanging, because if I need to adjust my neckline for whatever reason, I want to be able to just undo this and either undo some of the stitches or add more. So I'm gonna leave it here. And then what I will do is I will just kind of pick it up like this, and I'm just gonna kind of pull it a little bit to kind of make it nice and flat. And keep in mind, this is going to be the outside, the inside of your sweater. The side that is going to be the inside is this side here. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so the side that is gonna be the top, it's gonna look like that, okay? All right, so, and then I just flip it to the other side and do the same. So I will line it up, and then I will just do my stitches until I come to this stitch here, join it until I come to here, and then I will come back to the video to show you guys how to join the sleeves to the body of the sweater, okay? And with that, I will just talk about it, and then you guys will do it, and then we'll go ahead and finish joining both sleeves. and then how to then do a little bit of outlining on the top of the sweater, and then maybe the sleeves or the bottom as well. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed both sides. So as you can see here, I have joined both sides, meaning this is going to be my neckline right here. Okay, so now I'm going to be joining the sleeves to the body of the sweater. So I'm just going to put it like this, and just keep in mind this is still part of the side we're going to be joining in, and it's also the part that's going to be the inside of our sweater. Now I have my sleeve here, so I'm gonna just place my sleeve in a way that I also believe it's gonna be the outside, and I'm just gonna place it against the sweater or the body of the sweater like this. So now it's just a matter of making sure that you line these up with the, so that it falls equally on both sides. Now the way I do it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and obviously this mesh area here is the middle, and so I just need to line up that area that is meshed to the middle of where I'm going to be joining it in. Then I know I have equal amount of space on both sides. And you can go ahead, I need to grab my stitch marker somewhere. Just mark this and put a stitch marker here, put a stitch marker here, maybe even put a stitch marker in the middle. And then what you will do is you'll just go across like this and join it all the way to here. And then you will get the next, you'll flip it to the other side and place the sleeve on the other side exactly the same, join across as well, and then come back and I'll show you how to then kind of join the side. So this side is gonna be joined with this side here like this, and actually the other way around, this side is gonna be joined to this side when we fold it like that, and then how to join the sleeves. Okay, but for now just join the sleeves to the body, and then we will do the rest. I will show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have joined the sleeves to the sweater here. So as you can see, I have here, and obviously this is the first side that we did. So now that we have both sides joined, I will just pick it up like this. Okay, so just something like that, so that I have the back and the front panel now facing each other, or like on top of each other. And then I have the sleeves. So if we go ahead and just fold the sleeves the way they're supposed to go, something like this. Okay, so now I have the sleeve kind of on as well, but we still obviously have to join going from the beginning, like let's say the bottom here. You can do it however, you can either start it at the bottom here and go like this and then go across the sleeve, or you can start from the sleeve, go across. When you get to the armpit here, you will turn and then come around like this, and you will do the same on the other side. Okay, so again, just go ahead and join, and keep in mind you're keeping the side that you're joining to be all on the same side. So don't join like this and then flip and then join on the other side, because you don't want to join on multiple sides. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and join mine, and then when I have everything joined, I will come back and I'll just start here, and then I'll go across like this, and on the other side, when I finish, I cut off the yarn and then go on the other side and do the same. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have joined all of your panels together. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined everything. So as you can see, now I have my sleeves all done, and of course I have my sides done as well. So everything is done. I've gone ahead and weaved in all the ends that I need to weave in. I tried it on. The neckline is the size that I want, and for this particular project we're going to leave the neckline as it is. So we stay just having it straight like that. So the only thing that I have left to do is just flip my sweater inside out, or I guess the right side out, so that we can have it facing the side that will be facing out when we have our sweater on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just flip it like that. So now it's nice and clean on this side, compared to the side where we did all the joining. Okay, all right, well, this is pretty much the end of this project. So it's a very simple one. It was just mostly to show you guys how to do this stitch here, or this pattern here, and as you can see, it's very easy. This sweater of mine is more a crop top as opposed to a long sweater, but it's quite nice. Something you can wear with a tank top inside, or like another like a t-shirt inside, and put this on top, especially as the weather is beginning to get cold. Yeah, so this is it here. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end. I hope you guys will subscribe, comment, like, and share, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.